shares from government, has capacity for more innovations, has capacity to do more expansion to increase employment within Safaricom. So the issue of redundancy, and Safaricom, by the way, does not have any problem to do with financial issues. It's a well-performing company. And we do not expect any mergers outside, which may cause redundancy. Can you explain why do you talk of redundancy? Thank you, Chair.
Mheshimiwa Kirwa, then Mheshimiwa Makilap.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. I want to thank the Communication Workers of Kenya plus the KOTU for a short, good presentation. I listened to your presentation carefully, and most of your presentation lined between supporting the workers to make sure they are protected. At the moment, Safaricom is employing only 6,000, but there are thousands and thousands of people employed as contractors by Safaricom or by the dealers. Dealers were here the other day, and they had their fears also of the sale. The question that I have for you, and you have pronounced that you are supporting the sale of this stock, 20% by the Kenyan government to foreign entity, which is in South Africa. You have agreed that the sale to continue, and you said the measures has to be taken into place. Now, the question that I have for you, because Safaricom is a blue chip company, it is doing very well, but once the code comes in and forces Safaricom to employ thousands and thousands of contractors, it will force them to make sure that their income or their dividends will go down. Why would you want to invade now a company that is doing so well that you just, if the dogs are lying and they're doing well, leave them to lie. But what you suggested is that there are thousands of families which are being on contract, but they are not protected. Who tells you that they're not protected? Two, if this sale goes through, which is possible it will go through in the month of February, and the CEO is changed, the structure is changed, because the laws of this country allows the major stakeholder or stockholder to make decisions. It will be, and the buyer will have 55%. What say will you have if it decides to actually change the CEO, change the structure of the company, change the whole company completely, because they have the rights? What will you do? What precautions do you have in place that will stop them? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. If I refer to the presentation by the Communication Workers Union, page 4 or 5, part 6 up, where it says the Kenya Cup and then Safaricom PLC. It reads, despite Vodacom being the majority shareholder of Vodafone Kenya, the entity that is controlling Safaricom, there is a stark disparity. A, worker anxiety. Reports from Kenya and Central Organization of Trade Unions, as recently as 25, highlight significant anxiety among the 6,462 employees regarding job security and lack of union representation. Then B, legal conflict. And I want you, Banokwara, to take note of this. While the Kenya's Constitution, Article 41 and Labor Relations Act, Section 4, 5, and 57, guarantees the right of freedom of association, organized and collective bargaining. Safaricom PLC, as with impunity, utilized its organizational culture, and it is in quotes, and internal staff councils to bypass formal trade union recognition. What are these organizational culture and internal staff councils that has made it difficult for you to be recognized or the workers or to sign a recognition agreement with the workers of Safaricom? What are these internal staff councils and organizational culture that seems to violate the Constitution and acts of Parliament? Secondly, Chairman, is that the communication workers have some prayers to this Parliament for mandatory recognition agreement that Vodacom Group, now that they will be owning around 55% shares in Safaricom, if they were not able to recognize you when they had 40, what about when they are 55? Are they not going to be difficult for you? So you want the Parliament to help you fix a recognition agreement for the workers of Safaricom. And then victimization clause. I think these are worries that you require. I tend to agree with you that there is need to protect the workers of Safaricom, the dealers who do business with Safaricom, the agents, so that whenever majority shareholding goes to the hands of Vodacom PLC, a South African company, then the workers who operate under Safaricom will have security and their employees. That is something that you can pursue. Secondly, you go to other than talking about something that has not been established by law, although most of us believe on it. Your presentation was loaded with politics like in a political rally. At some point, I thought you were actually the transaction advisors of this group. Notwithstanding that, when the minister came here, and even the sessional paper is very clear that let us not confuse Kenyans, that the sale and the proceeds of this transaction,
a country where we have more hours of production than hours of protest on the street. I think that's what I aspire for before I exit this platform. The other issue that came was Malkia saying they were trade union leaders. They did their role. Now, the role was fighting for independence. We have now fought for independence. We are now independent. We now want to fight for economic independence. Namibia, a small country, and you see production, you see streets clean, you see, it's our culture, it's our way of doing things. So let's just try to buy these things and try to see if we can change to do things better. So we have, as a union, at this point in time, and as Kotu also, to see that we have an opportune time to see what we can do for Safaricom so that as a company, when it does well, the employees also do well. But I can tell you, believe me or not, I don't know how much salary the CEO earns, but I can tell you it's huge. But if you look at how they treat employees, maybe you don't know. I don't want to say that here in camera, but I can tell you those employees have medical issues. As I've said before, that one I can say because we can bring evidence if needed. There's a question which was asked.
And strengthened.
Yes, of course, supported by you, and that's why we say
Yes.
if we can enact laws, we have interest. And as we were today, we have interest in NSSF, because it's workers' money, we have a representation. In NSSF, NHIF, which is now SHA, we have representation. Even in the housing levy issue, we have representation. We sit there in all the institutions where the workers' money is invested. So I think what we have in mind here, if there's any change that you need to make, the Safaricom employees, Telecom Kenya had more than over 20,000 employees when the Orange came in. The first thing they did was the employees when the Orange came in. the first thing they did was, the condition is that we must reduce the employment to 6. And they gave the infrastructure which the government worked to. And we were called, of course, they were paid well in terms of compensation. We took part in that process because the union was then present there. But in the case of Safaricom, if there's no union today, there will be no workers' voice. And therefore, they will do whatever they want to do. They will tell you, we don't need the shops, we don't need this, we don't need this, so these people must go. So if 10 shops are going to be closed, the 10 employees in those shops will have to go home. And they will do it, and the law says so long as you notify the ministry and you notify the employee who is not protected, then they will just go home. They all need to inform the Minister for Labor, period. But where the union is involved, the union must be involved. If we raise objection, we will be listened to. And in many cases, we report this to the Minister of Labor, and who have helped us very well, and later on we go to court, and we have protected so many employees. We may not even stop redundancy, but they will become compensated appropriately. And those are the things we are talking about, because we have fear that when those fellows come, they will say, look, we are the majority shareholder, we need the CEO to go, the CEO must be ours. That's the due diligence we are talking about. We as a union may not do that, but you have something you can do, because all this process will pass through, Chairman, will pass through you. You can talk about, look, we still have this. They will demand the CEO, but they allow you to take the financial man. But more often than not, they will lack the finance person, because they know if they leave it to you, the money may not be there. So I saw that in Telecom Kenya, I saw it elsewhere, and I know it's going to come. We are going through the postal work now, and I know it will come. For me, if that will transform the company, if that will transform this country and make us build this country, for me, I'll be okay. So let us, if it goes through, because we can't force us at Kotu Kenya, as communication to have it to go through, it will go through a process. You are doing that process. There are HUCs of Kotu.
That's enough, unless there's a member who feels their question was not adequately answered.
I think through the chair, there is a question that Honorable Kaluma raised in regards to Article 206 and the establishment of the consolidated fund. It's remained the position of Kotu. Maybe it didn't come out very clear, and we know this is the mechanism under which funds are received by the government. When we talked about ring-fencing the fund, basically we meant that we are aware as Kotu that the cabinet sat, and if I'm not wrong, on the 15th of December approved the proposed establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund and the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And we know that this is not yet before Parliament, but we are aware that as much as we support this cell, knowing the intended use for the money is in this fund, it might be possible. I don't believe, or us as Kotu, we don't believe that Article 206 prohibits the money as much as it goes to the consolidated fund. It is then duty-bound to Parliament to ensure that this money, as much as it goes to the consolidated fund, it is not used, it is ring-fenced for the use when the National Infrastructure Fund is to be created. I think that we just wanted to make that clarification. I don't think Article 206 prohibits the fund from being ring-fenced for the intended use, because Parliament has the mandate to actually ensure that this money is not used for any other purpose.
Chair, I want to assure your committee that as Kotu, we are vigilant and we don't stop here. We monitor these things on a daily basis. And as we progress, if there are any other issues which may arise, we'll be at the forefront of coming to bring them out and discuss them with an aim of having a better country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Communication Workers Union and Kotu. Thank you for the excellent presentation. Thank you for making the time to appear before the committee and contributing to the nation building, because this is part of nation building. You're giving your views of your institutions on this important issue. So we thank you. So asanteni sana, karibuni chai, Mheshimiwa Kaluma.
Chair, let me thank these unions for appearing before us, and particularly highlighting the issue of the violation of Article 41, the idea of the 3 years, is it 3 years or 3 months period within which the workers will be secure. And by the way, Chair, that by itself alone should raise our antennas. Number one, these workers have no union which can voice their concerns. Number two, even in the transaction, it is recognized there should be some transaction. So I want to thank you for that. When I was told Kotu was coming, I woke up very early because I thought Francis Atwoli himself was coming. You came, you are equal to the task. Chair, this gentleman, we've been with him in trade unions before the Labor and Labor Relations Court was created. And I would appear with him at NSSF where the court was, and we would fight for hours, saying this is not a place for lawyers. So thank you for the work you are doing. When you go back before the chair closes the meeting, pass my regards to Francis. Tell him we recognize the good work he's been doing, voicing the union and the laborers' concern in the country and across the world. And my personal wishes as he goes through another bid. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Kaluma. Asanteni sana, Kotu na Communication Workers Union. And on that note, the meeting is adjourned. Let's take a 15 minutes break, tea break, and then we come back. Asante. Let's call the meeting to order. Our stakeholder is in the house, the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. Welcome to the Finance and Public Debt Joint Sitting. So, for the record, let's start off with the introduction by the members, and I will ask the Honorable Paul to start off the introductions.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Paul Kibichi Biego, Member of Parliament, Chesumei in Nandi County, and I'm a member of the Finance and National Planning Committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Dr. Rico John Amati, Member of Parliament for Turkana South, Turkana County, Member of Finance and National Planning Committee.
Peter Kaluma, Homa Bay Town, Finance and National Planning Committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Abraham Kirwa, Member of Parliament, Wasop, and Member of Debt and Privatization Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I am Sunkuya George Irisa, MP Kajiado West Constituency. I'm a member for Finance and National Committee. Thank you.
I'm CPA Julius Ruto, Member of Parliament, Kasese Constituency, and I sit in the Committee of Finance and National Planning.
Joseph McClark, Member of Parliament, Baringo North, and Member of Public Debt and Privatization Committee.
David Boni, Member of Parliament, Kitui Rural, and Member of Finance and National Planning Committee.
Joseph Oyula, Member of Parliament for Butula, and a Member of Finance and National Planning Committee.
Irene Joki, MP Bahati, Vice Chair of Public Debt and Privatization Committee.
Abdi Shurie, MP Balambala, Chair Public Debt and Privatization Committee. My good friend, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, I once again welcome you to the Finance and Public Debt Committee for your presentation on the Safaricom divestiture by the national government. And we're here to hear your input on that matter. And I will hand over the floor to you, start off with introductions, and then you can straight away get into the reason why we're here. So asante sana, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Chair, Honorable Shuri.